Chapter 12. A beep distracted me from my dark thoughts. I pulled out my cell phone and saw a reminder flashing on the screen. My phone was pretty much only good as a calculator, clock, and camera since I couldn't make or receive calls on the island. "Oh no," I said, reading the reminder. "Estevan is visiting today. I completely forgot." "When?" Astrid asked. "In an hour. We're supposed to hang out. He doesn't know about the plague, and I can't call him." I thought for a moment. "I'll meet him at the station and send him back before he can even get off the train." "Keep an eye out for birds," Anila said, walking up to us. "We haven't accounted for all of them, and as far as I can tell, there are at least 5 left." "What did you do with the dead ones?" I asked. "We're studying them very carefully." "Good idea," Victor said as he checked on Champagne. Anila looked at the elderly woman. Champagne was asleep, her breathing very heavy. "Am I doing the right thing?" she asked no one in particular. "Yes," Victor said. "Even if we don't find a cure, at least the rest of the world is safe. There are billions of people on this planet. From what you've told us about Dargonius, he wouldn't bat an eyelash at killing every last one of them. Would you want that on your conscience?" She grinned at him. "I suppose not. Thank you, Victor." He nodded, his red beard swaying. "Think nothing of it. You're a wonderful, responsible queen. Let no one tell you different." Astrid, Shay, and I returned to the village, leaving Victor and Champagne in the care of professionals. I sat in a chair in the living room and stared out the bay window by the front door. The thought of Dargonians dying, with the cure sitting on that second island, made me sick. Astrid sat next to me and took my hand. "How are you doing?" "I'm afraid of dying." "You can't die, remember?" I shook my head. "If my time comes, I'm going to take it. I'm not going to leech off anyone. If I die this time, it'll be final." We stared at each other for a while, neither of us speaking. The sun went down. And then I kissed Astrid. She pulled away, laughing. "What's happening?" "I'm sorry. I just thought I'd see what it would feel like." "To kiss a girl?" "To kiss you." We kissed again, for almost a minute. Then we stopped and stared at each other. "Anything?" she asked. "No. You?" "Not a thing. Sorry." "It's okay. I figured as much." I went outside and tried to start Shay's car, but it wouldn't kick. I called Anila, and she sent a soldier with a Bethel for me to borrow. It was just like a horse, only, well, red and scaly, just like Anila said. It was the same height, with similar long faces, only without a tail. We rode to the train station. The train was just arriving as I walked onto the platform. I could barely see the edge of the world from where I stood, but I could hear the roar. Estevan still claimed he hadn't gotten used to seeing that miles-wide waterfall as the train passed over it. I didn't doubt him. I still wasn't used to it. My nose bled from the fear the first time I saw that startling sight. The train stopped in front of me, and just as the doors opened, I stopped Estevan from stepping off. "You can't stay here," I said, holding up my hand. "There's a plague on the island, and I don't want you catching it. Go back to Dallas." He stood there, mid-step, his eyes wide from all the information I'd just given him. "Okay?" I looked at the sky, making sure there weren't any birds around. "Are you sick too?" he asked me. "You look like hell." He, of course, looked like a perfectly healthy 19-year-old. with a full head of dark brown hair. I got a brief glimpse of my reflection in one of the windows. My skin was clammy and pale. I don't have the plague. It must be stress. It's doing something to me. Estevan looked worried. We'd been friends since we were kids. He was the only friend who knew about Dargo Island. He even saved the island from a tidal wave, though he had Naoki's help with that. I hated putting such responsibility of keeping the secret on his shoulders, but he seemed to be handling it well enough. "How are my parents?" I asked him. "They miss you a lot. You should visit more often." "I know. When this is over, I'll visit. But not before then. It's too dangerous." "I hope it won't be too late by then." Those words stuck with me. What if I died before seeing my parents again? I'd inherited my life-leeching power from my mom's side of the family, and she had just told me a few weeks ago. Imagine my surprise when I found out I'd killed my twin sister while we were still in the womb. I'd been mad at Mom for keeping the secret from me my whole life. I felt it was time to forgive her. "We're working on a cure," I told Estevan. "It shouldn't be much longer. After that, I'll visit them. I promise." Estevan valued his family more than most teenagers valued theirs. That's one thing I respected most about him. He backed away from me and retook his seat on the train. I set up the controls to return to Dallas, and then watched the train glide away. The soldier took me back to the village and returned to the palace. I was so tired when I got home. I usually tried to make the most of my off time when I didn't have to work, but I couldn't imagine staying up much longer. I meant to only rest for an hour, but when I woke up, it was morning.